Hey guys, it's MZ here. I thought I'd come back with another video response tag. And this one's from Logan Legend and it's Tarot First. The first prompt is your first encounter with tarot. Well, the earliest thing I can remember, it's hard to pinpoint exactly when, but when I was a kid, my mum used to buy me these teen magazines. And I'm not sure which one it was, but there was like a witchy spell section in one of the back pages, and it used to fascinate me, and I used to always get it all the time and cut out all the images and keep it in like a little scrap notebook binder thing. And I used to get really excited about it. It could have been Ms. Bliss Sugar or Girl Talk, one of them type of magazines. I wish I still had the clips, like things I cut out today, but I don't, so that's unfortunate. But I just remember it sparking my interest in anything like occult, like spirituality, witch stuff. But I can't remember if it actually mentioned tarot in any of them articles, but I guess the first time I encountered it was probably a TV show like Charmed or something. But I can't really remember the first time I encountered tarot, to be honest. The next prompt is my first tarot deck, mass market and indie. Well, my first mass market deck I don't have anymore. It was one I bought from Woolworths. I was about 11 or 12 at the time, and I saw like a big display like showing, look at this new beginner tarot kit deck, and it was like £10, and I used to get like £5 a week pocket money, and I'd saved up, and I was like, I'm gonna buy this. I was a bit worried because like back then everyone was like, oh, your first deck needs to be gifted by someone, but I didn't know anyone that was into this that I was into. None of my family were interested in that sort of thing, or friends. And I was like, sod it, I'll just buy it myself. Hopefully that's alright. And yeah, I bought it, and the deck I got was just called Tarot. It was 78 cards and book by Jonathan D. I'll put a picture up so you can see. But yeah, I didn't get along with this deck at all. I remember being disappointed as it was a pit deck. I didn't know what they were at the time. But like when I first flicked through it, I was like, I can't read this. Like, what are these images of just swords? I didn't understand it. I used the guidebook quite a bit to read my readings and stuff. And I did use it, but it didn't connect with me, and I lost interest in it eventually, which was kind of sad. And I like gave it up, put it in a charity shop, and I kind of moved on to Oracle because I think that deck just put me off tarot. I thought all tarot was like that because I was young. I didn't know that RDWS was a thing yet. And yeah, so I moved on to Oracle. And my first indie deck I got was years later. I was obsessed with this art website called DeviantArt. People used to post their artwork. And I was following someone on their page, and they was drawing the major arcana. And I was following them, and they was doing it as like a series. And then they announced they was going to print it out like a majors only deck, and I was really into anime at the time. That was the style they was drawing in. I was just like, oh my god, I want it. So yeah, I bought it through DeviantArt, and I'll show you the deck now. I got this. It came in a little tuck box. I think it's a mass market deck now. I think it goes by the name of Mystical Manga Tarot. But I bought this off DeviantArt. I think their name was Poison Cage on there, but I don't think they're on DeviantArt anymore. So it came with like a little booklet. Meanings about the cards and that. I've had this thing for years. That was like their art style. And I've got a little thank you card. Look how bowed these are. But yeah, this is the deck I got from DeviantArt. And I absolutely loved it. Because I could read the majors when I was younger, and we didn't get into dub like all the minors back then. So I was like really interested in getting this one, and the artwork was beautiful. This is the deck I got. My first indie deck. I didn't even really know what indie was. I didn't really think about it until I started watching YouTube channels, to be honest. And I just never entered my head that there was mass and indie printed decks. So yeah, I just bought it because someone doing art made it. So yeah, that's the Majors Only deck I got from Demon Art. The next prompt is, what was my first Kickstarter tarot deck? And I've only recently started using Kickstarter. I was a little wary of it at first because you're not always guaranteed the deck you pledge for. But when I was watching more YouTube channels and videos of people receiving their Kickstarters, I had more faith in it and I thought I'd go for it. And I thought I'd back a UK creator at first, and this was the Omni Tarot. I really like the art style of this, and I thought, well, I've never been one to buy things overseas, so I tend to try and keep it UK based if I can. So I thought I'd go with this Kickstarter first, and it comes with a really lovely guidebook. Lots of information inside it. I just love the art in this, it's so pretty. Here's the box. But yeah, this was the first Kickstarter I backed, and after that I just went crazy and kept backing loads of Kickstarters. I've got quite a few I've backed recently, which I'm excited for. I can't wait for them to turn up. Got this shiny blue gilding. That's the backs. Oh yeah, this is the Omnia Tarot. I just love the art style. Weird and out there, typical thing that I like. It's really pretty. And that was the first Kickstarter deck I got. And many more followed after that. The next prompt is my first tarottuber, and that was the Hermit's Cave. I found his channel. He's quite a popular YouTuber, got quite a lot of followers. I suppose it just came up on when I was searching for things. Like I've been a lurker on YouTube for a long time and watch loads of like walkthrough videos, people talking about decks and stuff like that. And yeah, he was always been my favourite person to watch because he's been on here a long time, does great reviews, and love watching his live streams, just discussing tarot, and he's vlogging his life in Glastonbury, and it's just a really enjoyable channel. I really love the content he creates. So yeah, he was the first tarottuber I ever watched. And then the next prompt is my first tarot book. I don't have this book anymore, but it was A Complete Tarot Reader, Everything You Need to Know from Start to Finish by Teresa Mickelson. It was the first book I read that wasn't a guidebook or using the internet for information, because that's mainly where I got my information from for a long, long time. I only bought the book because me and my friend were going to get serious about learning tarot together. Like, I didn't have many friends that was into spirituality and tarot things like I was, but my friend did eventually get into that sort of thing. She came from a Christian background, and then she had this experience with the Green Man, which like spiraled into this big, deep dive into other spiritual beliefs and systems, and she got really into it and borrowed a lot of books that I collected over the years. And yeah, we was going to learn tarot together, and that's the only tarot book I've read cover to cover. I think that's why I got rid of it, because I read it and got my use out of it. And yeah, that was not a book I would recommend personally now, but it did help me learn tarot a little bit better. And then the next prompt is first tarot podcast. Well, I've yet to listen to one, so I wasn't aware it was a thing. I don't really listen to podcasts that much, so if you're watching this channel, let me know of any podcasts that you listen to and leave a comment down below, because I'd love to have like good recommendations that I could listen to on the commute to work on the bus. So yeah, feel free to comment because I'd love to hear what you listen to. And then the next prompt is first tarot calls. I haven't done a lot of tarot calls. I learnt mostly from the internet. And I remember this one website, I think it was eclectic.net, which was a big influence on me when I first got into tarot because they had loads of archives of pictures of decks that were available, and I was just amazed at how many different things there were out. But obviously, I could never buy them because I was young and minimal funds, And I wasn't online for that long. When we first got the internet when I was 11, and it was like 1p a minute to go on the internet, so I wasn't allowed on it for very long. So I tend to like find a load of tarot information, copy and paste it into Word, and I'd look through it later on the computer. So I haven't actually done a tarot course, but the internet was where I learned tarot really. The next prompt is the first major tarot teacher you relearned in a way that better suited you. Well, I guess I learned I can read intuitively if I want to. Like, you don't have to read the guidebook meanings and stick to them and only them if it doesn't resonate with you. Like, I remember like back in early 2000s, like a lot of people just refer to their lover's card as, oh, love coming into your life or love related. It wasn't until later on that I realised there was more to it than that. There's also about choices, and like there's a choice to be made, and there's all these other meanings. So I just learnt to just delve deeper into the cards and find what resonates more with you. It doesn't have to necessarily be what the original keywords were printed about it. You can have a tarot reading, loads of different tarot readers, and everyone's going to interpret it differently, and that's okay. Like, that's why I love tarot so much, because you can learn things however you want. So yeah, that's what I learned on my learning about tarot. And the first tarot deck I rehomed was the first deck I ever bought, and that was the deck by Jonathan D. Tarot deck. Shoved it in the charity shop because I wasn't using it. And that brings on to the next prompt, the first tarot deck that touched you emotionally. And that was the next tarot deck I ever bought. And that was the original Rider-Waite tarot pack. Because the first tarot deck I ever worked with was Pippish. Didn't even know RDWS was a thing till later on. The first one never worked out with me, so I got this deck. I heard that this was like one of the original decks to work with. Everyone was always talking about it, and so yeah, I got this deck. I got this when I was about 13, 14 years old, but didn't realise there was a traditional set of images out there. And when I got this deck, I realised all the cards were illustrated. It wasn't just like a bunch of swords on a card, and I could actually understand what the images are trying to tell me. And I just remember that being a pivotal moment for me to loving tarot. I was like, I can read this. This is amazing. And I just got really excited about it. And yes, one of the times that I just fell in love with tarot again, because I mainly was focused on Oracle for such a long time. But then I got back into tarot, and I wasn't aware there was Thoth or Marseille out there. And I guess the first deck I ever bought was a bit Marseille inspired with the artwork of the minor arcana. So yeah, I fell in love with the RWS. I wish this was the first deck I ever got, because maybe I wouldn't have been disheartened to begin with and didn't play with tarot for a while after that. So if this was my first deck, I reckon I would have dived into tarot much more earlier on. It was like I was about 11, 12 when I first got the first deck I ever bought. And it wasn't until like 2 years later I've discovered this. So yeah, I wish this was the first deck I bought, but well, I'm still into tarot now. That's what matters, and I got into it quite a young age anyway. Yeah, that's deck that touched me emotionally. And the last question is the first tarot-inspired artwork that you made. Well, I haven't really drawn much tarot artwork before, and it wasn't that long ago actually. I started doing a painting on the Seven of Cups because I really identify with that card and the meanings behind it. And I did start an art piece with my friend. I went up to visit her and we was doing an art day, and I started it and didn't like how it was turning out. I put a picture up with it of it, but it's left unfinished. I didn't bother finishing it. I don't even know where the art piece is now. I just took a photo of it at the time. I think I left it at her house because I was very unhappy with it. But I'm hoping in the future I'll do more artwork, inspired tarot. I'd love to make my own deck for my own use. That'd be great. So yeah, that's all the prompts for this VR, and hope you enjoyed listening, and love to hear what your first tarot deck was and all that. I'd love to leave in the comments or your thoughts and that, and I'll continue watching all these videos. I love them. I love VRs, they're so fun. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye.